So, what's up, my people? Dr.SheCole here. We're going to go into a bit of a fireside chat on various topics that have been going on in the media, social media, YouTube for the past several weeks. And this is going to be a very casual but yet informative video. And I'm going to be talking with fellow friends of mine, sisters in the struggle, educators that have been sacrificing their time, money, blood, sweat, and tears, sweat equity into the public school system in South Florida. And it's just time to, talk about some things as it relates to impacting the culture and the culture of education, the culture that we know as educators, that what goes on in the media, specifically social media, TikTok, Twitch, on X, IG, etc., do impact the brick and mortar buildings where our students reside, and music plays such a critical role in that, and along with so many other things. So we're just going to, completely kind of do this unscripted and just talk about some things that have been on my heart. They're going to chime in. They're going to ask me some questions because it's, to coin the phrase of Cat Williams, the year of reckoning 2024. It really is the year of reckoning in 2024. And I know for myself, and I definitely want my team here to chime in as they are comfortable, but it is time out for, the people who are lazy and have been taking shortcuts, whether it be in music or whatever your profession may be, and you want to ride on the coattails of other individuals and you have not put in the man hours and the work. It's like time out. And I can respect anyone that decided that they wanted to be true and remain a purist to their art form, opposed to selling out for, the bag of silver that they were offered in order to get to this false apex of success within their particular career or line of work. So we're going to get into it. So ladies, like I said, we're going to unpack a lot of different things. And what I mentioned in one of my other videos is that I'm really disappointed in a lot of the folks that it may not have been a situation of idolatry and just being so sold out to celebrities and what they do, but when you saw different people making inroads in certain arenas, there was a sense of pride that came along with that success, especially if they were individuals of color. For me, coming up in the 70s, growing up in the 80s, the 90s, when I went to college, it was something to see when Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs was able to get into Howard, number one, although not finishing, and create, and I even use those words very gingerly, but you can't deny an impact of what you experienced growing up. And I feel like a lot of that is tainted right now, especially with the recent video from CNN that confirmed a lot of the things that I, in my gut, knew had merit, knew that there was some truth there. Again, all things being alleged, innocent until proven guilty. I wasn't hanging on to hope after the raids that, oh no, they're just setting him up. Oh, that was just excessive force. Considering the excessive force that he's been using in the industry to get to where he is over the decades. And I have to say I'm disappointed. It kind of started with the unraveling with Bill Cosby for me, but I can't take away what Bill Cosby contributed with the Bill Cosby Show, with A Different World, impacting the culture, impacting society, showing African Americans in a professional realm, educated, and not in the stereotypical street life, because we're not a monolith. We come from various backgrounds. And I don't know, it's just tainted for me. What are you guys, what are you on with that as it relates to the Diddy Cassie $35 million payout, which she needed every coin? But, there's disappointment there and hurt there for me because, it's tainted. Where are you guys on it? Because I know we're all in a little bit of a different age group, but still maybe we were on the periphery of it all. Anybody?
Well, I'll chime in. Being I just got to the tender age of 40, definitely, his music really, his influence on the music that was coming up in the mid to late 90s was really, really fire.
Yeah, you might want to move up to hear you.
So sorry.
That's all right.
But just overall, I just think that he his influence was definitely felt. Just in just how he brought up Big, you know what I'm saying, with the remixes. You know, he pretty much was one of the main ones to start the remixes. So again, you know, and then with reality TV, I mean, his hand was on a lot of different aspects of hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And if he put a stamp on you, you're pretty much good. You may have been a one and done, but you were still good.
Right.
Know? And so it's like you said, it's disappointing, it's disheartening, because he has changed the landscape for him. Where he's gone from being Puff Daddy, Diddy, now he's Love. So he's really been putting out these meditations, these daily things, and then to find out that you're the one that we're trying to meditate from is very, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. You know, he has daughters. You know, he is an influence for his sons, and Cassie has to relive this trauma. His family has to now live with this forever, and his entire catalog, everything that he's built, is on sand, right at the beach. So it's unfortunate because he should be touted as one of the best to ever do it, but you know, he's definitely in the Bill Cosby R. Kelly situation right now. It's pretty much canceled. Diddy is done, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, girl?
I'm definitely in agreement with you guys as far as the tarnishing of a legacy. Pretty much, you know, you're not just watching the downfall of him, but everything that is associated with him. So it's pretty disheartening to know that, you know, all those years of struggle and sweat equity just kind of crumble at the drop of a hat. But you also kind of look behind the scenes a little bit and say, you know, when you were doing these things, was it really worth the backlash, or did you ever think about there being a backlash, or did you kind of think that you were unstoppable and nobody would ever, you know, put two and two together and realize what was going on behind the scenes? So that's the caveat to it all, you know. Sometimes we find in life that a lot of people from back in that time really felt like they were unstoppable because people would not speak up against, you know, the different things that they were experiencing at the helm of these folks in their hands, and because they were so powerful during that time, you know, they really felt like, you know, nobody can touch me. I can do what I want to do, and nobody's even the wiser about what's going on. So it definitely is a stain and a blemish for, like I said, his legacy as a whole, but also what he has done, you know, over time to impact the culture. So it really leaves everything in like an unsafe space.
I like that unsafe space piece, because when I saw that video, that CNN exclusive, it was scary. It was just so many layers of confirmation. It was triggering. And, you know, the Jay-Z's and the Mary J. Blige and the Puppies of the world, those are all my age mates. You know, they're all 53, 52, 53, going on 54. And I'm, you know, 53 going on 54. And literally, I felt like vicariously, I grew up with these cats, you know what I'm saying, from the standpoint of their music. I remember when Diddy was a part of the voting movement with the Vote or Die t-shirts, and the school that he did have at one point, and things of that nature, where there seemed to be a certain level of consciousness that he was trying to work with, but that was all seemingly an icing on top of a cake. I liken it to the stage or model cakes that have the cardboard and they're covered with fondant and they look amazing on the outside, but as soon as you cut into them, they're hollow. That's what this feels like, because the late non-equitable you know, royalty rights that you're giving back to artists that were not going to be able to make a tenth of a dollar as if it was given to them in the prime of their careers, or at least at a point where they could have still made some money. The fact that the conversation was anybody that does sign a bad boy, it was like the bad boy curse, even when we were doing Making the Band and the running across the Brooklyn Bridge to get the cheesecake and all of that, and the Farnsworth Bentleys of it all. There were things that were, you know, clearly shown through a cultural college type experience, embedded into hip hop, embedded into entrepreneur, embedded into all this talent you have access to, but why is it that no one has the sustainability and the staying power or the living power to survive and interface with you? No matter what the capacity, it's like people were leaving the legacy of ruin that people were, like the carnage of it all. The writing was on the wall all the time, and then these crazy parties and pastors in tow and things just when you start to have a God complex, and like you said, thinking that you are untouchable, unstoppable, and you have all of these forces behind you, and they have money, and they have connection, and they have reach, and again, charges and evading certain things, all of that runs out no matter who you are over time. Malcolm X mentioned the chickens coming home to roost. And again, I am not speaking ill or want to bring anything negative against anybody in a political realm. But it's just really taking that phrase and understanding that, you do so much dirt to people, it will eventually catch up. You have to do the work. And although I can appreciate him being the beat maker, because I remember, the phrase is, I'm trying to be on Hot 97 every day. That's my word. Can't stop, won't stop, bad boys for life. You might get life, brother. I don't know. Based on all of these allegations and charges, and for what? What profits a man to gain the whole wide world and lose his soul? That just keeps ringing in my chest, because the shortcuts and living off of the backs of people, it's just another process of a modern day slavery. I remember how big Danity Kane was. I loved Danity Kane. And for all of those groups, the 112s of it all and the totals of it all, people that really, really had talent, and they're not living the way they should be living, having gone through all that fame and exposure. Like, what are you saying? So the writing was always on the wall, and then being able to transition into liquor and to do all these different things, and the Sean John clothing line, the first to have ever done certain things in so many arenas, and to have the empire, the false empire, crumble the way it did is just disheartening. And again, everybody can repent, and everybody can get right with whatever spiritual walk they have. You can get right with God if that's what you're really trying to do. But there's a whole lot of get right that needs to take place with Diddy. And, as angry and upset as I was in seeing what I saw, I'm just moved to pray for the brother, because he's lost. He's lost. To treat another human being like that, it was just deplorable. The lack of humanity. And I'm not even putting that on drugs, because if you have the wherewithal and the understanding that, you need to hold your towel up as you whipping on somebody in a hotel lobby, you had the cognizant understanding to know that if I drop this towel, I'm not going to be, it's going to be a situation. So let me, keep this, around my waist. The gripsing of the towel lets me know that you were in control of your faculties to that point of not being embarrassed, but you did not care as vases and cornering people and dragging people. And that, that wasn't the first time, and that's not the only victim. So I just pray that he has the opportunity to get that right between himself and God, and whoever. And I don't even think you can come back from something like this. In human form, spiritual form, God is omnipotent, and His grace is there as long as you take advantage. But as for all these years and the keys to the city and the music and all of that, what his children are going to have to grow through and live with, my heart bleeds for them. And I believe everybody needs to go through their due process legally, and we'll see what the end result will be. But there was a time that before all of this, there was a time that I was somewhat like, I'm glad that, Diddy is love, whatever, represents a part of the culture that knows that you can make it, but at the expense of people and their lives and talent. It just isn't worth it. So it's rather disappointing. So my take on the Diddy situation may be a little different, but again, it all comes back to shortcuts. It all comes back to character. It comes back to how you treat people, and you do reap what you sow. And there have been a lot of seeds that are coming to harvest right now, and there's not much strategy. Once God takes his hand off of it, it's a wrap. So I'll be praying for his children.